Hey, you guys, thank you for watching. Um, the reason why we're here is because I've been thinking about getting on YouTube to podcast and broadcast and to provide you content and things that um, talking about topics that I'm passionate about, that people are hungry to hear about. And for me, does those topics include? It would be entrepreneurship, spirituality, uh, staying motivated as an artist. And when I say artist, I realize that as an author, some of, not all, but some of the same things that it requires to stay consistent, to stay relevant, to stay on top of your branding and your game and being a voice. And it's interesting to say voice because when you compare being an author to that of a music artist, um, you would think that as a music artist, it would be easier because your content virtually is entertaining, whether if you view it as entertainment or not. Some people have all these game plans for their stuff. My content is ministry. My content is to inspire or to motivate, etc. Everybody has a vision for what they want their stuff to be. But at the end of the day, when you think about people's music careers, most people generally view it as entertainment. People listen to you for purposes of entertainment, and it may lead to inspiration or etc. But in a nutshell, people view it as entertainment. And guess what? If your music is not popping and your content, your lyrics, your sound isn't popping enough in the sense that it's something that people want to listen to or whatever, they just won't. And so it's no different from that of those of us that are authors trying to drive sales to our books and products and things of that nature. You have to stay relevant. People wonder why I press to do so much interviews and stuff like that. One, it's a way to get out there and network. And in one sitting, I have reached potentially thousands, if not millions of people by doing radio and television that I honestly cannot pay for that type of advertisement. I cannot pay for or afford to pay for the type of exposure that you get from those type of networking events and opportunities, etc. So that is one of the reasons why I drive and push for interviews via radio and television, etc. Because it's that one thing that you can do to gain more exposure. But for those of you that don't have the know-how, that don't have the experience for what it requires to go out there and obtain those interviews, doing something such as what I'm doing now. Start your own thing, podcasting, blogging, etc. That's how you get your exposure. That's how people will know who you are. Staying relevant to your brand, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build. And when I say staying relevant, it doesn't mean consistently putting out promotional content, begging people to buy your product, etc. It means to talk about topics and things, build yourself as an artist or a brand. And it's about talking about topics and things that are relevant to people. You don't have to, per se, in every video, put yourself out there, oh, buy my content, do this, do that. You can do that in ways technically without doing it. So if you're creating your own content and you're talking about relevant topics, things that people are interested in and they want to know, you can drive your content by putting in your own ads instead of looking for formal advertisement in other areas. You can do that by creating your own content, talking about whatever you want to talk about, relevant topics that people are into or that will help you build your brand, that will help you drive your brand, that will help you drive your following. So if it's music, talking about giving tips or advice how to become an artist, how to build your brand as an artist, how to copyright your music, if it's being an author, writing tips, um, how to get distribution, how to get publicity, etc. So talking about topics that people need to hear about, and then you plug in. You don't have to do it over the live broadcast or your recording or whatever, but you have content created, ads created that you drop in. You take breaks during your recordings, etc., and you drop those in. And without even inviting or saying, you know, part of the power of advertisement is when you get so used to seeing a person's face or you get used to hearing a certain ad, you eventually go out there and you purchase the product. And that is the power of that. So staying relevant, staying before people, becoming memorable, creating a name for yourself, your brand, etc., is the thing that you need to do. Two, the topic that I created for this was um, procrastination, the enemy to your success. When I think about the things that I know that I could be doing to push my brand further, and there's a vision that I have that I want to fulfill that in and to do that in. And the part that hinders is constantly trying to be a perfectionist. So trying to be a perfectionist will trap you into procrastination because you may not have the means to do what you want to do, all the money, the setup, the equipment, etc. But the truth be told, you have the basics. Most of us have a web camera, whether if we know it or not. You have one on your laptop or you have a camera on your phone, etc. And there's things that you can start doing right now to promote yourself and take your brand to the next level. But we refuse to do it because we're trying to keep up with the who's who. You know, you may not have all that video editing material at your disposal to make your video look perfect like someone else's, etc. But at the end of the day, your brand is suffering. Not enough people know who you are. Not enough people know what you do, etc. And this is the easiest way, and not to mention a free way for you to promote your content, etc. And it's just learning how to use social media, ventures like YouTube and others. YouTube is basically one of the biggest, it's the second largest search engine there is on the web. So it's a no-brainer. It's how a lot of people in the modern day get discovered, etc. And if you don't have no content and if you don't have anything out there, then who's going to find you? If people don't know who you are, it's your fault. So if you're an artist, if you're an author, if you call yourself being an entrepreneur, etc., and nobody knows who you are, nobody knows what you do, and let's take all the fluff off of it. Most people will say you have to have certain essentials. And that's the part that causes people to procrastinate, is because they already have it in their mind that to be successful is overwhelming. Who said that you had to have a website right away? You know, those are some of the issues that make people procrastinate, not do what they need to do, etc. And those were some of the things that I ignored. Without even having a website, I did a lot. I accomplished a lot. And one of the reasons why I really honestly felt like I didn't need a website right away is because as an author, I already had a landing web page with Amazon. That's my particular main source of where I choose to sell my books. So through Amazon, they already created an author profile for me, simply because I have multiple books. So it gets easier to list those books and products under the same author, etc. And having done such, and so I didn't really feel the need to go create a website right away, because one of the things I wanted to do was build my experience, build my content, build my brand. And that process is still continuing right now, but it has really reached a point now where a website is essential. It's a must. You have to have it. You know, you have people reaching out to you on large television networks, etc. So it's a no-brainer. You know, it's something that most people say I should have been done, but in the end, what is the sense of having a website with nothing to put on it? So these are some of the things that you need to think about and not allow yourself to fall into procrastination and not try to be such a perfectionist, because that's part of the main thing that will hinder you from getting yourself out there. You're trying to perfect everything. It's one of the things that hindered me and stopped me from doing videos, is because I wanted a particular way. It has to have the intro, it has to do this, it has to do that, it has to have this look, this kind of lighting, etc. And at the end of the day, the number one thing that helped people to know who I was as a speaker and an author, now I have cut that very thing off. And to tell you the truth, more people get more exposure from YouTube than anywhere else. YouTube is the equivalent of getting onto television, etc., especially when you learn how to drive and build your brand. So no, producing one little video is never going to do it. It's being consistent with providing content, providing topics, talking about things people want to listen to and to hear, and most of all, exposing your personality. People love personality. So if you come to YouTube and you kind of just dry and you don't really foreshow your personality, it doesn't serve you well, because most people are not going to follow your videos, whether if you're trying to do something extremely educational or you're just doing it for fun. And in my context, mine's is strictly or direct towards educational. So here and there, you get bits and pieces of my personality, but I try not to be overly funny, and I try not to be too dry that people do not get the message of what I'm trying to say. So at the end of the day, you don't want to be such a perfectionist. You don't want to fall into procrastination, because it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your brand. It's going to hurt your wallet. So always worrying about having all the particulars is not always necessary. You need to get yourself out there. You need to get the exposure you need. You need to start building that following and that army that's going to support what you do. And the rest is kind of history from there. So I just want to thank you for taking this moment to watch this video, subscribe to my page, and follow me on Twitter, Dr. Michael McCain at Twitter, and check me out via Facebook, Michael McCain on Facebook, and all other links to anything else that you may need, I'll provide in the description section. Thanks for watching. Peace.